Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ruchak Kudash. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's true name in the ancient Hebrew, and Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, to save the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Peace, grace, and mercy be upon the house of David, the Bayath Dawadah, which is the elect, the men, women, and children that are predestined to receive salvation and to be the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel. And double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. Honors, salutations, and blessings to the men that are preaching the gospel of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and to the men, women, and children that's listening and learning and keeping the faith of Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability day in, day out. So a real quick, brief news, economic update. This is coming from yahoo.com, all right, entitled, and it came out 2 days ago, I believe. 3 days ago, December 6th. The title reads, "Another 1,000 truck drivers lost their jobs in November, and it's a chilling sign for the economy." All right, because, once again, we know that this economy is on its way out of here, man. All right, this current, system of, that is currently operating here in Babylon, all right, is it's faltering, all right? It's deteriorating, day after day. All right. So another sign of this is truck drivers losing their jobs. Okay, and we know that this also ties into the famine. All right, the famine of actual bread, and food, because that's how these grocery stores, get stocked. All right, the food doesn't automatically, magically appear in these grocery stores. They get shipped from the farmers, the farms, and warehouses, what so have you, by way of truck drivers. All right, but you have truck drivers losing their jobs, and as the title reads, it's a chilling sign for the economy. So I'm gonna run through this. Lord willing, is edifying to the elect, and I'll put the link in the description. It says the trucking industry has been in a recession in 2019. And hey, that's something that the mainstream media, these Fox News and CNN, and nobody's really talking about this. Okay, nobody's bringing this information out. It says small trucking companies and owner-operators, truck drivers who work for themselves have been hit the hardest. After an uptick of 700 trucking payrolls in October, the industry slashed another 1,000 jobs in November, according to the monthly job report released by the federal government. The trucking industry slashed 1,000 payrolls in November, according to the most recent report released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The job cut comes at a time, listen to this, when the trucking industry should be ramping up for the holiday season. Okay, so because why? Because during this time, people are the fourth quarter of of the year, people are in, supposed to be in buy mode. Okay, they're supposed to be out, buying, goods and services because of these deals and because of the holidays. So these trucking jobs, there's supposed to be more trucking jobs, being put out, but rather what's happening is jobs are being cut, during a time where it's normally, okay, during a good economy, they should be ramping up. It says warehousing and storage, for example, added 8,000 jobs last month, and in November 2008, some 4,100 trucking jobs were added. So this time, last month, this time last year, you had 4,100 trucking jobs were added, but here it is, a year, later, you got 1,000 jobs being cut. Right, and that's a tell sign for the economy, depleting. It says ACT research said America's $800 billion trucking market has been in a recession since early 2019. Okay, so the trucking industry has been declining for damn near a whole year coming up. It says freight volumes have been declined for 11 straight months. Manufacturing, which tracks the trucking industry, has contracted for 4 straight months. So what is this all, make America great again, and the economy is thriving and booming? All that is a facade, man. Okay, even the so-called unemployment rate, which they're saying, is at an all-time low. All right, but they're not taking into account that you have a lot of people that stop looking for jobs, which is why you have homelessness, at an all-time high. Okay, and you also, a lot of these jobs that people are getting are low-paying jobs, which I believe this article goes into. So they're saying that they're adding, a whole bunch of jobs, but a lot of these jobs are like server jobs or Uber, things that are, not high paying jobs. Okay. It says in the first half of the year, about 640 trucking companies went bankrupt, according to the industry data from Burlington Capital LLC. That's more than triple the number of bankruptcies from the same period last year, about 175. Okay, so in the first half of the year, you had about 740 trucking companies go bankrupt. Okay, and you have a lot of different companies going bankrupt, which we've done plenty of videos on these retail stores that are shutting down. Okay, so America as a whole is going bankrupt. Okay, it says here are the numbers of jobs added and removed. So I'm not going to go through this list. All right, so I'm gonna jump down here. It says a red flag for the rest of the economy. So this is another red flag. All right, another sign that this economy is actually, in a bad state, man. Is waxing worse and worse. Which we all know that this is how, this is all pursuing a prophecy. Okay, because ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to have a complete collapse of this, economy, and you're going to have this dollar drop, man. All right. So reading on, it says everyone from the C-suite to individual truckers are increasingly blaming their woes on the industrial recession, one that's being kicked off by President Trump's trade war. So everybody, it's like everybody's being affected by this. You see, everybody's being affected, and Salaki, excuse me 1 second. It says, I'm gonna read that again. It says, everyone from the C-suites to individual truckers are increasingly blaming their woes on the industrial recession. All right, one that's being kicked off by President Donald Trump's trade war. We have been in an industrial recession for the last year, and I say that just based on the objective fact that not only us but the entire LTL industry has seen negative tonnage growth in each of our last 4 quarters. XPO CEO Brad Jacobs said in a call to the analysts on October 29th. Another explanation for 2019's challenges is the cyclical nature of the trucking industry. Big upticks are typically followed by downturns. And 2018 was a remarkable year for trucking, with rates across the board hitting near record highs. Okay, so when they was that goes into when they think peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Because last year you have they was hitting near record highs, and then a year removed, all right, a year later, everything is on a downturn, man. Everything is all going south. It says because of that high pay, trucking companies bought huge number of trucks and hired new drivers in anticipation of profits to come. But then as the supply of trucks and truckers caught up to demand, rates fell, making that investment challenging to pay off. All right, it says when the rest of America is headed for a downturn, freight usually dips first. A report from Convoy's Economic Research Division said. All right, so once again, it says when the rest of America is headed for a downturn, aka a recession, which this is where everything is leading up to, but it's not going to just be a recession. All right, because you had the what they deemed the Great Recession happen about 10 to 12 years ago. All right, and now it's looking like it's going to be another one, but it's going to be even worse than that. Okay, it's going to be actually a global depression, man. All right. It says the industry went into a recession in April 2006, more than a year before the rest of the economy was clobbered by the Great Recession starting in 2008. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump here. It says It says that regardless of job reports reflected an unexpected boost, but the ongoing hit to trucking hasn't seemed to cause the rest of the economy and meaningfully contract. The rest of the jobs report crushed expectations, translating to a 50-year low in the unemployment rate of 3.5%, which I was talking about earlier. They're saying that they're at a all-time low in unemployment rate. But however, reading on, it says that an unexpected boost in payroll surprised analysts who have said for months that the economy is slowing down. This year, the U.S. has added an average of 180,000 jobs a month, down from the average monthly gain of 223,000 in 2008. Still, a windfall of jobs isn't necessarily a win for many Americans. A Brookings report recently uncovered that 44% of U.S. workers are in low-wage jobs, earning a median annual salary of $18,000 despite historical low unemployment. So even though they're saying that the unemployment rate is low, it's only because a lot of majority of U.S. workers, almost 50%, are in low wage jobs, man. Okay, earning a median income of only $18,000. All right, and there was another report which Dabu said that 63%, which is what 2/3 of Americans, earn only $33,000 or less. Okay, so this economy isn't booming, man. This economy it's not shaping up to be a place of golden opportunity. As the scripture says, the golden city has ceased, man. Babylon has fallen, the golden city has ceased. All right, and it also talks about how Babylon is fallen, we would have healed Babylon. But this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall be found empty. Okay, so last year they was talking about the trucking industry was at an all-time high. Okay, and now what? That was a sown place, and now they appear unsown, man. Okay, now everything is in a downturn. Everything is looking like it's getting worse and worse. Okay, and you just had Trump say that in leaving the beginning of next year, about 780,000 people that was on SNAP food stamps is about to lose that benefit. Okay, it says the full storehouses shall appear found, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Okay, now it goes into what? These grocery stores, man, and goes into the famine, because these trucks drivers are the ones who get these foods to these grocery stores. All right. So if they're losing, if their economy, or should I say, if their industry is in a recession, that's going to trickle down. And that's going to affect everything else, man, that they are in. All right. And that's going to affect what? Hyperinflation to food, food prices. Okay. Goods and services, everything is going to increase, man. All right. And let me get this last thing in not second address, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. It says, Salakia, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. It says, in the day when the keepers of a house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows shall be darkened. Okay, the grinding is ceasing, man. Okay, which means what? The working is ceasing. That's why you have all these companies going bankrupt. All right, slashing jobs. All right, these are stores going out of business. All this is pursuant to the prophecy of this place being destroyed, man. And the Lord is doing it systematically. All right, so I end that there. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Wa Abba Ball. Shalom.